I, 33F, am Hindu, and it is a custom in my religion for babies to go through a rite of passage by shaving their heads when they're typically 1 to 3 years old. It's extremely common in India, as both Hindu and Muslim communities follow this practice. My husband is from the US, and we've been married for 4 years. We're currently in India, visiting my family. 2 days ago, we were on FaceTime with his parents and mentioned that while we're here, we will have a ceremony, Mundan, for our daughter, 3F, where they shave off the baby's first hair. They were excited, and my mother-in-law even asked me to send photos. Everything was okay until my husband joked, "You'll finally know what Maya looks like as a baby." My mother-in-law was confused, but when she learned about the shaving, she was furious. This was not even for religious reasons since she knows my daughter is being raised Hindu, though. My husband's family is black and are devout Christians, but my husband left the religion years ago. She has never expressed anger towards this in particular, so it was not the reason for her outburst. She went on a tirade about how I was trying to unblack my daughter and how I don't like my daughter's hair. She said I don't love her natural hair and have consistently tried to make it like mine, which is frankly not true. She also mentioned I'll start bleaching her skin soon, since it's common with my people. This is completely baseless. Not only are we darker than her entire family, but also, this was completely out of the blue. I've done my best in my search for my daughter's hair care. I visited many black-owned salons with my sisters-in-law and found the perfect one for my daughter. My husband researched hair care products for babies, and Maya's hair is very healthy. I've heard no complaints from anyone. I even have a hair oiling tradition with her. My mother and grandmother followed this, and it was a great bonding time for us. I wanted to share this with my daughter too. I can't even say anything about the skin bleaching stuff. The only conversation my mother-in-law and I had before about Maya's hair was when she mentioned she wanted to get cornrows done and asked if Maya would go to get hers done too. She was 2 at the time, so I said no. I completely blew up at her after this. My husband was mad at his mom, but said we should just have the ceremony on the down low and not post anything about the ceremony since her hair would grow when we go back, but I want her to have a big ceremony, and she's quite excited about it too. I'm also pretty hurt about mother-in-law's outburst that I had a good relationship with her. Father-in-law has been quiet since this happened, and both sisters-in-law are 19, so they can't say much. My family was in the next room while this happened, and they heard what mother-in-law said and are now mad at my husband. I don't know, this was supposed to be a fun trip back home, and it just spiraled into this. Update 1. The ceremony was held yesterday, and I'm so glad I went through with it. Maya had the most amazing time with her cousins, and we did our best to ensure that we get a priest who also had some training in shaving hair, so she was comfortable and didn't cry. We had a great day with our family, and Maya was so glad to see her uncles who also flew out from the US for the ceremony. But it seems like our day was too good, and mother-in-law called us screaming upon seeing the pictures my relatives posted on Instagram. She wasted no time this time around and went for her actual reason for being so against all this. As many of you suspected, she was still resentful that my husband married a Hindu. She somehow expected me to raise my daughter Christian, which totally blindsided me, and father-in-law was also pretty much on her side. This time around, my parents also came and spoke to her because they did not like how she was talking to me, and my husband was being a complete wuss, leaving that for later right now. We kind of diffused the situation for now, and I'm so glad my parents are still there for me. Oh, and the most surprising part, my sisters-in-law told me mother-in-law had herself shaved her daughter's hair when they were toddlers, since no stylist would work with kids that young in their area. My husband said he kind of remembered it too after they mentioned it. So she pretty much had no problem with the hair shaving. I guess the resentment was just building up from my Hindu celebrations. The most horrible thing was the skin bleaching comment. As someone who has been on the other side of it, it felt horribly awful that someone would say that I would have any role in it. The thing I'm angriest about is the audacity of her to call me up and scream about all this, like I would have responded well, maybe not but at least better than this, to a nice conversation. I don't know if I want this woman around my kid, but that's a problem for later. Everything was very Indian soap opera-ish for me, so well, it's been a long day. Update 2. She's just been horrible to me the past few days, and I've realized I have no real relationship with her. At this point, having no relationship is better than what I have right now. The other day she called us and called me a satanic worshipper, I assume due to the polytheistic nature of my religion, and a cow-worshipping freak. She apparently expected my daughter to be raised solely as Christian since her father used to be Christian. She also expressed distaste, and I'm putting this mildly, at my daughter being bilingual because she thinks it'd be a secret code for the other set of grandparents, and insinuated that I was so extremely lucky that I did not marry an Indian guy, and referred back to a racist meme. I don't know where she learned about it. When I first started dating him, I knew there were going to be cultural clashes, but I've usually been accommodating of their traditions and have celebrated with them. In fact, before Maya was born, we only used to celebrate their traditions, and I used to go to a local temple to celebrate my festivals with other Hindu people in my area. My husband would join me sometimes, but there was no initiation from his family at all, even after I was married. The only time I remember that I didn't agree to participate in a tradition of theirs is when I refused to wear a white dress in one part of our wedding. Hindu people wear white to funerals, so white is considered extremely inauspicious for the bride to wear at weddings, so we usually wear red instead. I honestly found all of this to be completely unhinged because how does someone's brain work like this? I obviously cannot have any further contact with her, and I don't want my daughter to have any contact with her either. She's clearly racist and has no respect for our religion either. I don't know how to bring this up with my husband. Obviously, I won't stop him from visiting her since she's his mom. I also don't want to cut ties with his sisters, they're great aunts to Maya. I'm just really confused right now. Update 3. We had a few discussions, and I suggested going no contact, or at least low contact with mother-in-law and father-in-law. After we returned to the US, he decided to visit them without Maya to get some documents that my husband needed. I tried to keep my distance, so I was sitting in our car 3 blocks away, but apparently mother-in-law heard from a friend that I was trying to pull her son away and magically found my car too, so basically, my husband snitched on me. She doubled down on her hurtful comments and even added more fuel to the fire. She accused me of brainwashing her son and trying to Indianize him. She claimed that I was stealing their family and culture away from them. It was disheartening to see my husband tell all this to mother-in-law. He saw how distressed I was for months and still did all this. He acted like a complete mama's boy, choosing to side with her instead of defending me and our daughter. I had always seen him as a kind and supportive partner, so this betrayal felt even more painful. He suggested marriage counseling, and I agreed for a while, but it became increasingly clear that our differences were too significant to overcome. My husband's two-faced nature, where he would say one thing to me but allow his mother to treat me poorly, was a deal-breaker. It was like he had never learned to speak for himself and grew up being pushed around by his mother, so he couldn't even have a normal conversation with me. Now that I think of it, we never had any disagreements about any major stuff ever, so that's definitely a huge red flag. My husband was kind of in all my friend groups from college and beyond, and I really don't have any friends that are exactly neutral since we went to college at the same place and now work at the same place. I miss India a lot, where I have a strong support system with my family and friends, or staying in the US. It's not really the 70s or 80s anymore, there would not be a significant difference in our lifestyle if I lived in the US or India right now. Moving back to India would give me the emotional and family support that I really need right now, but I worry about the potential racism Maya might face in India as a half-black girl. Moreover, my husband is unlikely to agree to the idea of his daughter moving to a different continent, and I don't think that it would be the best for her to grow up without a dad. We are now in the process of filing for divorce. It's ironic how I, as someone who married a non-Indian, still found myself trapped in the Sas Bahu drama. I really don't know what to do, and it's honestly so stressful.